Hello, 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 my beloved souls. How are you? This is a special partial solar eclipse and Scorpio reading. I literally keep trying to say that and I keep struggling with it. I don't know why it's a struggle. But anyway, hi, my beloveds. I missed you guys. I love you so much. So, we got a partial solar eclipse going on in Scorpio on the 25th of October, I believe is the date. And that is bringing up a whole lot of karmic patterns. Bitterness, anger, resentment, fear, anxiety, right? Any of that stuff that we've kind of been dealing with is all being brought up to the forefront, right? Scorpio can be is a sign that deals with like the taboo, the kind of the darker energies, right? More of our shadow self, right? And so anywhere we've kind of tried to stuff and hide that stuff and shove it down and ignore it or pretend that it's okay is coming up, right? And eclipses always propel us into our fate, right? Our fate is like our predestined plan from when we got here, right? We kind of sign up for these lessons or these experiences, and at some point we have to deal with them, right? Very different from destiny. You can create your own destiny, with your free will. But fate is like if you're meant to have a freaking car accident at some point in your life, like in your early 20s, that's your fate. Like if you're meant to meet a certain person and kind of have this like interaction, that is your fate, right? So this eclipse season pushes us into pushes us into our fates. And a lot of that is going to have to deal with love and creativity and money because that's where all of this energy is kind of like is kind of settled right now that Venus is also moving into Scorpio during that time, or Venus has moved into Scorpio during that time. So we have Chiron retrograde in Aries, which is all about like the wounded healer, healing the self. And then we have the Scorpio eclipse, which is propelling us towards our fates of healing and dealing with our karma, our anger, our aggression, the things that are just not serving our highest and greatest good in our life, right? Really like having an awareness of what's going on. A lot of these energies also are coming up with the energies of our parents, right? And so maybe you've been the child that everyone was like, they're always a bad child, you're never good enough, like no matter what you did, like your mom or dad weren't happy, right? Or maybe you have some resentment or anger or, problems with your mom or dad, and it's kind of like you have them in this kind of category and you're not trying to shift on that. And so right now we're all being guided to like have a different perspective, right? To kind of shake things up, one, have a different perspective on yourself and your own life and the things that you've been dealing with and going through, and have a different perspective on other people's lives as well, right? Sometimes it takes for us to take a step back and to kind of reevaluate, to be like, my mom and dad did the best that they could with what they knew, right? Like maybe they didn't know better to do better, right? And so it's not about like me being angry or frustrated or resentful towards them for all this time, but me just having kind of a deeper understanding that like, wow, that was the best that they could do. And whether or not they're going to shift those energies or even shift their relationship with you or be accountable, or you being accountable, right? Because we're all the enemy in somebody's story, is irrelevant. What's relevant is how you're dealing with it and how you're showing up and how you're allowing these things to play out in your life. So, big time energy here coming to support us, not only with the karmic patterns and relationships that we have from this life, but also from past lives, right? And so, which I found really telling because I just got like a past life deck because I've just been dealing with so many different couples, and so many of them have beautiful soulmate energy, and so many of them are coming through as past life energies, right? And it's like, all right, well, how many more times and how many more lifetimes do you want this energy to play out, right? If you're interested in doing like an Akashic Records reading or a past life reading, my information's down at the bottom, theenlighteneddaughter.com. But this is really about taking stock and ownership of your life, right? And looking at where you're at today and being like, okay, this isn't working for me anymore, right? Like that was something that I thought about myself, but that's not really a part of myself, right? Maybe that was a comment that was given to me by someone and I kind of like embodied it and put it on as a cloak and made it a part of me. Maybe it was a situation that I had to deal with, and that's all it was a situation, right? It's not a part, like we are not the traumas, we are not the dramas, we are not the pains, we are not the insults, we are not the low vibrational behaviors that we accept for ourselves. And sometimes we just accept it, right? Have you ever dated someone or kind of like became friends with someone when maybe you were in like a lower vibrational state, and so you met them and you guys kind of like aligned in that moment, but now one of you is healing, one of you is elevating, one of you is growing, evolving, ascending, and now there's conflict, right? Because you guys aren't on the same page anymore, right? These things happen, right? I know I've dated many people where dated people on my highs and been good. I dated people on my lows and it's been like, oh. And then sometimes we stay stuck in those patterns because it's familiar or it's comfortable or we feel bad or we feel guilty or whatever, right? This eclipse is helping to purge all that out. Get rid of the guilt, the comfortability, the familiarity with the hells that we've been in for a long time, right? We're moving towards the fate of our freaking strange heavens, right? We're moving towards the fate of divine love, of joy, of abundance, of peace, of harmony, of divine well being, right? But sometimes those lessons are a little bit, sometimes they're jagged little pills to swallow, right? It is what it is. It's time to be honest with ourselves. So, anyway, I started this reading before and then I had to deal with a client and I just wasn't in alignment with the reading before, so I ended it and I decided to re-record it because now I just feel much more energetically attuned with the messages that are coming out. So thank you, angels. Thank you guys for being here with me and the beautiful High Vibe Tribe. What do we need to know? What do we need to see for this beautiful eclipse? Partial solar eclipse that's going on in the sign of Scorpio. What does the collective need to know? What do we need to see? What do we need to know? What do we need to see? We're going to pull from a couple of decks today just to get some deep messages coming in. Amazing. I'm loving what I'm seeing already. Perfect. Yes! All right, I'm going to start here. Sorry, I'm just so excited for everybody. Okay, so what? First thing first, love, right? Love, creativity, and money are really being highlighted at this time because Venus is in the sign of Scorpio, right? So we're healing all of those energies, right? We're healing our outlooks on love and what we expect from love, right? You know what your yeses are, your nos, your non negotiables. You're setting really healthy boundaries. You're learning to love yourself, right? We have Chiron, the wounded healer, and Aries really helping to support that as well. Right? So love is being amplified at this time. How can you show up as a being of pure love? How can you love on yourself? And how can you offer that love to the people around you, right? To the collective, right? How can you pour more love into these relationships? How can you pour more love into your outlooks? And anywhere that you might be in a karmic relationship and you kind of had the wool over your eyes or like the rose colored glasses on and you've just kind of been floating through life and pretending everything is oh hunky dory, copacetic, and it's not, you're about to get rocked, right? You're about to get rocked. Life is happening for you, and I'm letting you know right now, you're about to get rocked. If you're going to pretend like everything is okay when you know it's not, be aware of the fact that you're setting yourself up for some really painful karmic lessons, okay? All right, I just got warm all of a sudden. All right, romance. Again, right? If you are in alignment with your truth and where you're at vibrationally, especially when it comes to the energies of love and romance, especially if you're a twin flame, this beautiful energy is coming in. More intimacy, more connectivity, more communication, right? All coming in. But if you are allowing yourself to be distracted by romance, i.e., you're being distracted by the roses, the candies, the sex, and it's not serving your highest and greatest good, it's gonna come up to the forefront for you to heal it, right? We gotta feel it to heal it. So these angels are coming in to really support you and owning those energies and shifting through them. Sorry for the background noise. And then we have Archangel Haniel, yep, with integrity, right? Integrity means doing the right thing even when no one is looking, right? So you want to be in your power, you want to be in integrity. We want things to come into balance, right? Eclipses, this eclipse in Scorpio is happening on a new moon, right? And new moons are normally about manifestations, right? This is when we use our creativity to get things started, but not under this, not during this time, right? We don't want to get things started when things are kind of chaotic. We don't really want to kind of create during this time because manifestations tend to be from like our egoic self, not really from our soul self, right? It's kind of like the tangible things that we're trying to create in this universe, right? So we want to just focus on our soul, and the soul comes where it gets filtered through our heart, right? So you want to really make sure that the things that you're putting out into the universe at this time are for the highest and greatest good of all, right? Not just the egoic self, but literally big picture. All right, big picture. Bottom of the deck, Archangel Zaphiel again with the energy of ecstasy, right? Falling into the arms of our angels and guides, and just surrendering to the process, right? Surrendering to the things that make us feel amazing, right? You don't need a pill for this type of ecstasy. This is literally a natural vibrational state for you to be in, right? Look at the angels, just allowing them to just fall into it. It's like it reminds me of like someone who like won like a lotto or a house or something like that, and they're like passing out because they're just so overwhelmed with like the joy and the amazingness of that moment. Like those are the blessings that get to come in for you if you're open to it, right? If you're open to it. Here's some of the things that we're also dealing with during this time. So thank you, angels. Thank you, guys. What do we need to know? What do we need to see during this beautiful eclipse season? What's the Scorpio eclipse got for the collective? Okay. Bottom of the deck, failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn, right? You are not a failure because maybe some of your relationships didn't work out. You are not a failure because maybe you lost a job, right? You're not a failure because your parent or your teacher told you that you were, or your quote unquote loved one, right? You are not a failure because you made a fucking mistake. You're just not, right? And so it's time to let that energy go, right? That judgment, that criticism, like somebody told you that you weren't good enough, fuck them. Literally, like deuces. It's all right. Well, you don't have to feel that way. Like you don't love me, cool. I love me, right? I don't need you to love me. I love me. I have the love of the divine within me. If you love me, awesome, great. Add to the cake. If you don't, awesome, great. My life is not going to change, right? You are not a failure because you've made some mistakes. Mistakes are an opportunity to learn, right? We fall down and we get back up and we do it better the next time, right? If you're repeating the same pattern over and over and over again, guess what? It's being brought up right now for you to do something about it, right? Get off the hamster wheel. Aren't you tired of feeling like that? Aren't you tired of feeling frustrated and angry and bitter and exhausted and like you can't do anything right? You can do a lot of things right. You can do a lot of things right. But if you're a fish trying to climb a tree, guess what? You're going to spend your whole life trying to be a failure. Maybe that's just not the route for you. Try something else. Try something different, right? Doesn't mean your end game changes. It just means that maybe the pathway needs to be a little different. And that's when we come into that energy of surrendering and giving it to the Most High and being like, you know what? I'm going to trust the path that I'm on, right? Freedom. Beautiful energy. Beautiful. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. Yes, you do, right? Destiny is a choice, right? What are you destined to do, right? What do you want your happily ever after to look like? And what are you willing to give up in order to accomplish that, right? Because in order for us to get something, sometimes we got to give stuff up, right? You want a brand new home, or rather, let's say you want brand new living room furniture, but you already have living room furniture, right? It's time to get rid of the old stuff so you have room for the new. And that especially goes for the areas of our heart, right? We're holding on to pain and anger and resentment and bitterness and frustration, right? And we got all this stuff holding us, or we're holding it so tightly, we're blocking the love from coming in. We're blocking the joy. We're blocking the deliciousness that's available to us from coming in because we're holding us so tightly, right? It's time to let that stuff go, to open up your hearts, open up your minds, open up your souls, and allow yourself to receive. Allow yourself to receive. Doubt. I release the need to know all the answers. You're not gonna know everything. No one does, right? Some of us are so busy trying to analyze and think things through about every pathway. Well, what about this? And what about this? And if this happens and that happens, you're not going to outthink God, number one. So just stop. And number two, you get so stuck in trying to outthink and overthink everything that you get into this energy of analysis paralysis. You're so busy trying to figure everything out that you're not doing anything. Do something and make a mistake and then do something else, right? Just because you did something and it didn't work out, it doesn't make you a failure. It just means that maybe that's not the path, right? What did Einstein say? It's like I found 9,999 ways that the light bulb didn't freaking work, or was it him? Whatever. That something didn't work, right? And it's like, but then it did. It's like I didn't fail 9,999 times. I just found 9,999 ways that the thing didn't work until I found the way that it did. Right? So just move forward. Right? We're never gonna know how everything is gonna play out. I'm a psychic. I don't know how everything is going to play out. I can give you the energies that are around right now. I see very clearly, right? I'm very clairvoyant. I see a lot of things, but I don't know every possibility in all universes across all directions of time and space. I just don't know. Nobody does. I don't need to. I know the end of the day, that's my happily ever after, and that's where I'm headed. I know I can trust in the divine to give me some clear guidance as I'm going through the day to day in order to get there. And I know that sometimes if I get off track, I'll be rerouted. I don't necessarily know all the people I'm going to meet. I don't know all the conversations I'm going to have. I don't know all the places I'm going to go to. I don't know all the foods I'm going to eat. I don't know all the outfits I'm going to wear. All I know is that I'm going to go to my happily ever after and I'm going to get there. That's all I know. It's about the journey a lot. Death. I am learning that endings are merely beginnings. This is powerful, especially with freaking the Scorpio energy, right? Endings lead to new beginnings. We're purging out all of that crap because it's no longer serving us. You're not getting rid of it as some type of freaking punishment. No, you're not being punished by the divine. Everything is happening for you. You don't need it anymore. You don't need that doubt, that fear, that judgment, that criticism, those commentaries, that low vibrational relationship, that addictive behavior. You don't need that stuff anymore. It's not serving your highest and greatest good. There's a lot of energy on this planet right now that is low vibrational, that wants to keep people off path, that wants to keep people from following their truth, and wants to keep people away from their purpose. And it's a subtle energy, right? It's a distraction. Maybe you're in a relationship with someone where the sex is amazing, but they're not good for your heart or your head, right? Maybe you're working at a place where you make a lot of money, but you're not in your integrity. You don't feel good about the things that you're doing, right? You're not living in your purpose. Maybe, you are tolerating relationships because of the titles that they have in your life, right? That's my family, or these are my friends, or this is what I've always known, or I've always grown up in this place, and now it's time to let those things go, right? Maybe it's time for you to relocate. Maybe it's time for you to have some really hard conversations with people in your life and be like, you know what, like, this is just not me, and I'm not doing this anymore. And that's cool if that's who you are, but some people got to be loved from afar. You take people as they are and you place them where they belong, right? And if some people have you in these certain limitations and boxes, because that's their perspective, then cool, that's your perspective. I know that's not who I am. I don't live in that box anymore. But if you're still stuck, under me from 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, rock out, like enjoy that little fake fantasy world that you're living in. But I'm going to be over here vibing high and doing a damn thing, whether you like it or not. Good, bad, or indifferent, I'm moving on with my life, right? That's what we're done. That's what we're being to. Thank you, angels. Thank you guys for being here with me in the collective. What else do we need to know for this amazing solar eclipse that we got going on in Scorpio? A lot of messages coming out. All right, bottom of the deck, trust. Trust the process. Trust in your higher self, right? Trust the innate wisdom that's coming to you. Trust the divine to lead you to your highest and greatest good. Again, the stuff that's coming up right now is going to be a little bit intense, right? It doesn't always feel good to heal. It doesn't. It doesn't always feel good to have to acknowledge um, kind of where you've been in life, or even your own toxicity. Like I said, we're all the enemy in somebody's story, right? It doesn't necessarily always feel good, but we're going to trust this process and we're going to move forward. Why? Because we know that the only way out is through. The only way out is through. And you got to feel it to heal it, my beloveds. You really do. All right? You owe yourself that. Bottom of the deck community. Yeah. We're looking at the highest and greatest good of all, right? Again, manifestations like we're having it with this beautiful new moon. I'm sorry, the beautiful new moon we normally want to manifest, right? But manifestations normally can be more about what we're looking for with the self and not really with the collective, right? But right now, we're purging and healing all of this time, all of this energy, and transforming, right? Everybody's transforming. Look at the butterflies, right? As a collective, the whole collective is going through this, right? So we're purging and pushing things forward in order to heal ourselves, in order to let that be a ripple effect that goes out to the collective as well, right? Big picture, guys. We're doing the big picture now. Going forward, yes, we're moving forward on this path, right? We're walking away from this kind of like dark, foggy time and into the light. Again, if you are in a low vibrational relationship, or you've been dealing with a lot of like karmic partners or patterns or distorted belief systems, that shit is coming up. The fog is lifting. The wool is coming from over your eyes. The rose-colored glasses are coming off. You're being shown this stuff for a reason, right? Good, bad, or indifferent, it's gonna come up. You need to be aware of it to do something about it, right? We can't fix what we don't know is broken, but awareness is a very powerful tool. Once you realize something is broken, you can do something about it. You always have free will, whether or not you want to do something about it. However, can't act like you don't know now, right? Because now you have an awareness. Stillness, beautiful, right? Get quiet. Listen to your higher self. Stop listening to all the freaking peons around you that got something to say about your life, but that don't have to deal with the consequences. No, you want to tap into your higher self. You want to connect with the angels, with your guides, with your ancestors, with the Most High God, right? And really just get your guidance from there, right? God, what do I need to do? Where do I need to go? Like, what's the best step for me? What's the next best step for me, right? The next best step. You're not going to know everything. We already established that. But what's the next best step? And then you sit in the silence and you chill out and you get some peace of mind, and then you listen. The soul whispers. The ego is going to scream. The ego is going to be like, oh, you got to get up. You got to do this. Da, 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 da. The soul is going to be like, maybe we should go to Starbucks. Maybe we should take a walk in the park. Maybe you should go get that blouse that you were looking at. It's going to be simple. And you're going to be like, it may not make sense, but it doesn't need to make logical sense. Trust the process, right? Fulfillment. Look at that beautiful full moon. So as we're moving, through these eclipses and we're heading towards the next full moon, things are really going to be starting to come to fruition for you, right? You're going to feel more fulfilled, more free. It's like you're ripening, right? It's like you're ripening during this time and opening your heart and allowing yourself to be free and really just allowing the deliciousness that is in you to come forward, right? It's beautiful. Ooh, pleasure coming in. Yes. Joys, pleasures, ecstasy. Once again, when we surrender to the process, right? It's beautiful. Purity. I love that. And things, look at this, right? Things coming into balance. It's like we're seeing things from two different eyes in two different ways, but we're still seeing the purity of everything involved, right? So when we shift our perspectives, we get a chance to look at things a little differently, and we get a chance to look at things through the eyes of heaven and see things through heaven's eyes in the most beautiful way. See the purity of everything and everyone that we're dealing with, right? There's lessons and blessings in everything. It's how we perceive things and how we kind of embody things that changes that. Freedom, again, coming in, right? Flying high, releasing the doubts, the burdens, not being weighed down by the comments, not being weighed down by the low vibrational behavior, not being weighed down by the judgments and the criticism, but allowing ourselves to be set free, allowing ourselves to soar to higher and newer levels. That's what happens when you let that shit go, right? You get to elevate yourself. It's like a hot air balloon, right? We're dumping out the sandbags of bullshit so that we can elevate and we can rise higher. Yes, and the truth is coming in, blowing into everyone's life, right? You're going to be seeing the truth in all things, right? The truth of how your own behavior patterns, the truth in how you're looking at things, and the truth of those around you. There's a blessing when we have God, reveal to us the truth of everybody's hearts, right? We want to see the truth of things. And sometimes what you're not seeing is that inside that person's like behavior, demeanor, their arrogance or their fear or their trepidation is someone who needs to be loved, right? We're all souls within these different meat suits, and we're all kind of reacting and responding to life in very different ways. Everybody right now is going through this energy. Everybody's purging. Everybody's healing. Everybody needs a little bit more love. So then everybody needs some compassion. Everybody needs some kid gloves, right? It's not just you. Everybody's a little prickly right now, right? Be mindful of that. Leadership. How are you showing up? Right? You're the leader of your life. Are you stepping into that? Right? Maybe you're being called to step forward, right? For your family, for your job, for the collective. How are you being called to lead at this time? Are you the lead person in your own play? You know what I mean? Like, we are all the CEOs of our lives. We are all the freaking writers of our own books, right? So are you being called to be the lead? Have you allowed yourself to be the lead in your life, right? To follow your true north? Or have you been letting others take leadership of your life and you just kind of been playing as like an extra, a secondary character? This is your life to live, right? It's time for you to step forward and to take ownership of that, not let other people dictate to you what your life should look like. You're not here to live life for them. You're here to live life for you. Doesn't matter what your mom said, your dad said, your teacher said, your mentor said, your husband said, your wife said, your kids said. Doesn't matter. What matters is you. Are you satisfied with your life? Are you happy with the decisions that you're making? Are you on the path for your highest and greatest good? Flow, going with the flow of the universe. Once again, life is happening for you, not to you, right? Where are you being led? When we go into the stillness and we get that um those intuitive prompts, right? And then we go with the flow of life and we realize that we're wherever we're at is where we're meant to be, right? And that we can always do something from there, right? Maybe I'm climbing up this mountain and I haven't freaking reached the top yet, right? But I'm on this beautiful plateau and I get to stop and have a water break and a snack break and look out on things and the horizon looks so differently from here, right? Yeah, maybe I'm not all the way there yet, but I'm on my way, right? And I'm trusting the process. And it doesn't have to be swimming upstream, right? You can go with the flow of the river. And security, amazing, right? Safe, grounded, stable, secure. This is that root chakra energy, right? Understanding that we're guided, protected at all times. We want to really get connected. And I love that because it's the same energy here with that root chakra energy, right? So get grounded, right? Do some meditations, get out into nature, go for a walk, eat some grounding foods, right? Potatoes, things like that that grow on the ground. Like that's really going to be supportive to you at this time. Beautiful. So thank you, angels and guides. Can I get some final messages for the collective for this beautiful partial solar eclipse in Scorpio? Jumpers, we got jumpers. Bottom of the deck, revealing radiance. My light illuminates the world. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. When you allow yourself to be seen, heard, felt, it's a game changer. Trusting my intuition once again in the stillness, connecting with your higher self, right? My life is truly guided. My life is truly guided. You don't have to overthink things. It doesn't have to be hard work. We're humans and we like to just do too much. That's really what that is. But look, proceeding softly, right? It doesn't have to be like swimming upstream. I already said that. My inner power grows in moments of what? Quietude. Where's my baby at? Right? Thank you, angels, for repeating these messages. My inner power grows in quietude. And what's next? Coming into power, right? I step into my power boldly and confidently. And look at this. Look at all this light, right? All this radiant light. That's where your power is, right? From your own inner light. Stepping boldly, confidently. It doesn't always have to make sense to you. It's probably not going to make sense to those around you. Guess what? It's not their path. It's yours. So what are you looking at? What's happening right now in your freaking universe, right? And what needs to change? What needs to shift? What do you need to get rid of? Declutter, right? Renewing your life. Radiant vitality is filling my life. I love the fact that we got radiant again. But this is why we're in this beautiful Scorpio eclipse, right? We're getting rid of the shit that's not working. It's time to let it go. Box it up, get it out your house, right? How are you going to make room for the new stuff? There's no hoarders here in the freaking spiritual world, right? Something's coming in, something's going out. The universe is cyclical, right? You want something to come in? Cool. What are you getting rid of? My children always they want to ask me for stuff. I'm like, cool. What are you donating? Like, you want all this new stuff? No problem. What are you getting rid of? You want something? Fantastic. What are we getting rid of? We don't need 800 million different toys, right? You're not going to play with all of it, but there's somebody who is going to use the stuff that you're getting rid of because it's no longer serving you. No problem getting you the new things, but what can we get rid of? Right? I just donated a whole bunch of clothes. My kids just donated a whole bunch of clothes. They donate toys. They do it all the time. Right? We donate a whole bunch of books. And now we have space for the new things that are coming into our life. So what are you getting rid of so that you can make space for the new and the better and the greater? You know what I'm saying? Dwelling in truth. I stand in the light of truth. This is not an easy energy for people to traverse, right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it is. And sometimes the truth can be a very jagged pill to swallow, right? We have to honestly take a look at ourselves and be like, I'm toxic, or I'm narcissistic, or I have abandonment issues, or I'm very jealous, or I'm very controlling, or, like I can be very materialistic, or I'm only focused on sex, or, like I stayed in this relationship too long, or I'm scared, or, like I have bitterness, whatever it is, right? It's like look in the mirror and own it, dwell in the truth of it, right? Feel it to heal it, feel it to heal it. Acknowledge it and move forward. It's not about judgment. It's not about criticism. We acknowledge things, have an awareness of it so that we can move forward. Always, so that we can move forward. Accepting what it is, right? It is what it is. I accept and embrace my inner majesty. Like I said, you're exactly where you need to be right now. You're exactly where you need to be right now. It doesn't mean you got to stay here, because you won't. Life is going to keep moving forward, but we acknowledge the present moment, right? We take a look and we go, okay, the past is gone. There's nothing I can do about it. I got those lessons. Cool. This is where I'm at right now. And this is what I'm envisioning for my future, right? But the power's in the now, like Eckhart Tolle says. The power's in your now. It is what it is, people. And you're making a difference. My inner light shines far and wide. That's how you're showing up in the world. You're the conduit of change, right? You're the hands of God here on earth. You are making a difference by every choice and every moment and every decision that you make, right? And really just feel into that, right? When you take ownership of your life, when you take accountability for your soul and your path, you cause waves around you, right? Like a pebble in a pond. It's waving out and you're affecting all of those around you, right? Within that beautiful vast community. And then when that energy hits the banks, it gets to come back to you, right? And so as you heal, the collective heals, and then you're also healing yourself. And you get to send that energy out back and forth and back. So what are you putting out there? Is it negative? Is it low vibrational? Is it painful? Is it addictive? Is it traumatizing? Is it dramatic? Right? Because guess what? If you're putting it out there, you're sharing that with the collective, but you're also getting it back. I tell people all the time, it's like when you pray for a person, or even when you're cursing a person, right? The prayers have to go through your four bodies before they even get out to go wherever you're sending that prayer, right? Your physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional bodies. The prayers go through you 4 times before it even goes out. And then whatever we send out gets amplified 3 times, right? So now that's times 12 that you put out there. And then whatever you got going on gets to come back to you. So be careful about how you're speaking about people. Be careful about how you're speaking to people. Be careful about the energy that you're putting out there, right? What do you want to receive back? Love, joy, abundance, gratitude, divine well being, peace, harmony? Or are you with the illness, the drama, the trauma, the fuck you, the kill yourself? Like, listen, my mouth is crazy. My mouth is crazy. I'll tell you that right now. You piss me off and I can black out on you in 5 seconds. And I have to be very mindful of that. Like, I'm very conscious of the fact that I know that I can flip in 5 seconds. You know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, no, I don't want to put that out there. And if I do put it out there, I lose myself. And I'm like, God, please forgive me. I'm trying to bring it all down, right? And I got to use that energy of forgiveness to kind of be like the barrier point to kind of like clean the slate so that I don't get that stuff coming back to me, right? You got to really be mindful of it. Be mindful of that during this time because everybody, like I said, is a little highly sensitive at this time. A lot of anger, a lot of bitterness, a lot of resentment, a lot of frustration, a lot of jealousy coming up with these karmic patterns and these past life issues, abandonment issues. A lot of people are super sensitive. Be mindful of that. Be mindful of the collective's energies and be mindful of your energies. Watch your temper. Watch your mouth. Watch the things that you're putting out into the universe. Okay? But finally, soaring into joy. What? Childlike wonder fills my life, right? Look how happy she is. She got some balloons. She's just floating in the air, flying above all the nonsense. Again, with that freedom energy. Okay? She's not holding any bags, like we said when we talked about that hot air balloon, right? Let it all go. We're just letting the blessings, right, raise us up, right? We're just allowing ourselves to just feel and to be happy and to be joyful, right? We're getting rid of the things that are not serving us so that we can elevate. This really reminds me of like the final scene of Mary Poppins Returns. Everybody got a balloon and they were all kind of like flying in the air and like singing and just like joyful, right? It's a beautiful energy. So we get to one, we started with love, right? That was the first card out. Yeah. We started with love and we end in joy, right? A lot happened in between, for sure. But we start with love and we end in joy. Allow that to be the guiding light during this time, right? Know that everything is happening for you, not to you. Know that you don't need to hold on to that energy any longer. Know that you are loved beyond measure, that you are covered, that you are safe, guided, guarded, protected in all ways, in all ways. All right? Open up your heart. Allow yourself to feel through these things. Allow yourself to free yourself from the things that have been holding you back. You deserve love. You deserve romance. You deserve peace. You deserve abundance. You deserve divine well being. You deserve relationships that fulfill you and sustain you. You deserve to have your cup poured into the way that you pour into everybody else's cup. You deserve to live life happily ever after, right? So you're being propelled forward right now to just expedite this healing. And fortunately, although this is the eclipse in Scorpio with the sun in Scorpio, we also have Venus in Scorpio, right? So it's going to be a little bit gentler, right? It's going to come up and there's going to be some aggression there, but you have an opportunity to just take a breath, take a pause, right? And see it for what it is, an opportunity to heal, an opportunity to love deeper, an opportunity to expand even wider, an opportunity to ascend even higher, right? To ascend even higher. Okay? Anyway. I'm going to leave it there. I love you. God loves you. Angels surround you. Again, if you want to book a past life or Akashic Records reading or any reading, actually, you can always book down below at theenlighteneddaughter.com. If you want a coaching session, if you want to do a spiritual call because you just need somebody to talk to because this shit is crazy and it's just too much going on, hit me up, right? All my information is down below. I love you. I'll see you guys soon. Later.